Let's do one more winter landscape before the season is finally over. So I'm going to take a mop brush with some yellow and do some back and forth strokes in the middle of my picture. And at the top, I'm going to go in with some bright blue and white. Now don't back over your yellow too much, but blend it. You don't want your yellow to turn entirely green, but in that middle part, it's okay. And then I'm going to take some bright blue and some teal with white and go all the way to the bottom. See how you can see a little bit of the yellow reflecting in the water? You can even add some white too, like I did there. And then dry it really good, because I'm going to take my medium round brush and do a line of white right in the middle. And then I'm going to add some islands. These are just kind of little snow-covered islands in the middle of your lake. There's a line going out and then a curved line up. Same thing down here. I'm going to have a curved line and a straight line at the bottom, just making it look like a snowy hill right in the middle. Let's do one down here, just a little jut out. Perfect, and then fill them in. I'm going to do one right at the bottom. There we go. All right, now I'm going to do something very similar to what I did in my last easy landscape. I'm going to take my medium round brush with some red and even some dark brown, and I'm going to bounce the brush to make the look of trees in the distance. I'm going to make it higher on the left-hand side, and I'm even going to add a little bit of white for some snowy highlights. You can be as detailed as you want. I'm just bouncing the brush like a bunny. And then, because I planted that in the white line, I gotta fix that back up so it looks like the trees are planted. So just do a white line across there. You can even bounce your brush with some white on the islands after that dries to make it look textured, like fluffy snow. I like to do that on some of the super straight edges so it looks a little bit more natural. Do that to each one. I am also going to make a little bit more of a thicker section on my horizon line with white because I want to plant some trees. I'm going to take my fan brush with some nutmeg brown and a little bit of white, and I'm just going to bounce in some lines. I'm using it the tall way, not the wide way, and just bouncing it in this little jut out there in the back. Make sure they're all different heights. They kind of look like twiggy trees, or brush, if you will, right in the back. There we go. And the bottoms do look a little funny, so I go back in with some white and I blend those in. You can blend or bounce. Now I'm going to add some trees in this one as well. So on my left island, I'm going to take my medium round brush and do a big tall tree trunk going from the island up all the way off the picture, straight through the sky. And I'm going to do 3 of them. Make sure they're a little wider at the bottom so they are sturdy. The wind won't blow them over. But I'm not making the tree trunks too thick. They're tiny little trees. And I'm going to add a couple branches because we want them to look like trees, but because they're so close together, don't be afraid to have some of them crossing over each other. They're kind of holding hands, if you will. Bringing them a couple out. I don't want them to be too detailed, but I am going to add some branches and sub-branches. Make sure you're following those V's. Notice how I'm always starting on the trunk and pulling out the direction I want to go. And then I'm also going to add some snow to the tops of them because we are still in winter. I keep getting requests all the way to Easter. I'm not there yet in my head, but this is the last one I'll probably have with snow for a while. Just adding a little bit of snow and some highlights to those trees. Just take some lighter, whiter tan and add those highlights. And I like to plant the bottom of the trees just by bouncing in some white. Now let's give these islands some TLC. I'm going to take my detail brush and do a little bit of the nutmeg and dark brown on the front ends to make them look shaded. And let's add some grasses or some cattails. I'm going to start by doing the wide version of my fan brush for some grass. Just pull up lightly. I'm using the same colors I did for my trees, dark brown and light brown. And then I'm going to make some little cattail grasses almost. I'm turning it the tall way and just tapping in a couple different little textures at the tops of these grasses. I love using this combination because it does look like the winter cattails. And you can do different patches. You don't have to cover your islands completely, but just decide in a couple different places where you want them. You can even add dark brown at just the tops to make them have a little bit more contrast. There we go. All right, my last time doing splatter snow for this season to top it all off. And there you go. There is a super easy winter landscape. I love this one especially because you have almost all the colors of the rainbow. It's very colorful for a winter scene. Have fun!